Welcome to Daggers and Shadow Daddies.
We're your hosts, Ryan and Adriana.
Strap in and strap on.
Warning, this podcast contains explicit content. It's all vibes and no facts.
Prepare to be spoiled.
Wait, no, these are spoiler-free episodes.
We might still spoil you.
Stupid sexy Xaden.
He is stupid. No, I'm just teasing. Just joking. I don't remember how this one started.
Oh, this one did not start off with sexy Xaden. This one ended with sexy Xaden. Where he's drenched in water.
In water.
In rain.
Yes, the Notebook. Yeah, they got him.
Traveled 9 hours in the rain, uphill both ways, on a dragon.
That doesn't even like him. Okay, never mind. Too close to home, my bad. We got to start at the beginning of this one. I can't work my way back forward on this.
You don't want to talk about the sex scene twice?
We could. I don't even think they have sex in that scene, really.
No,
but they kind of start almost, but it's a chapter of starting having sex. It's a foreplay chapter.
Yeah, foreplay chapter with the shadows. I don't think Xaden was even touching her. Maybe some kisses at the end.
Okay, so we're going to talk about it twice. You bring it into where you want to start this.
I have some other things that I wanted to bring up before we dove into chapter 44.
Did you? 44? Wild.
While rereading and editing our episodes, I have the question, how is Barlow still alive while they were gone for weeks? Who is giving him power treats?
I think he can survive a few weeks. I don't think Violet was going down there daily.
Remember when she said, you can have this medallion thing, and it'll last you a week?
Fair.
And he used it all at once. At first, I took it as, you can savor this for a week. But he took it all at one time.
Can you imagine giving a starving person food and being like, you should savor this for a week? No, they're going to eat it.
It reminds me of the movies where they drop off this person in the middle of nowhere with X amount of food for surviving so many days.
But if the person was already starving, it's kind of the idea.
Do you remember Last Man on Earth when he packed himself food for like a week and he ate it within an hour?
Yes. Yeah, he's like, I'm going to run away from home. It was that logic.
Oh, no. He was dumped there by the other Tandy.
No, the other Tandy was not both of them. They weren't fighting over the name Tandy. It was Phil.
The other Phil.
The other Phil, who I think his middle name was actually Stacy.
That's right. Left him with enough food to get away from this town type of thing. Get out of here. And then he ate it all within an hour.
Yeah, that fits. Yeah, no, that's a good point. I have no idea what is sustaining Barlow other than we can assume there are other Venin.
Ooh, maybe. I was thinking the higher ups are taking care of Barlow.
I think the higher ups, one of them may be Venin. We don't know. Who do we not see very often and who avoids meetings? I would say Atos, other than he fucking shows up all the time. He's literally never not there.
What if it's someone on the scenarium?
Yeah, could be. Dun dun dun.
There was also a comment earlier this week. We had a whole discussion about Xaden's grandpa being bonded to Sigale, all of this. In the end, I don't know what we really landed on with his grandpa other than he had a child maybe out of wedlock.
Yeah, we left it pretty loose because we really didn't know.
No, just clueless.
But
somebody had the theory, what if it was actually Xaden's grandma that was the Duchess of Tyrrendor and not his grandpa that was the writer who was bonded to Sigale?
Yeah, never even occurred to me.
No.
I was so sexist.
Yeah, I feel
it's so wrong.
I feel so guilty that it never crossed my mind. In my head, it was Xaden's grandpa and then Xaden's dad. It was like the men.
Leading up to this, we weren't given female rulers.
Well, I think the queen has always been a part of this because we've always heard about her and Kat, Serena, Takaris.
I've literally only remember hearing about Takaris. I knew Takaris was the next in line, but I did not know that there was a queen. I'm sure it was said, but it wasn't like hammered into your head that there's a queen of Poromil.
But there are a lot of theories of how this kind of came to be with Xaden's grandpa. I think the biggest consensus that everybody kind of landed on, I don't really know how to describe it, is his grandpa had Xaden's dad, but his grandpa died, and that Xaden's grandma married the brother. And that's how they got away with it being the uncle or something like that. His great uncle.
Yeah, it was a lot of hoops to jump through. In lieu of it just being, hey, Xaden's grandma was the Duchess of Tyrrendor. And then we're left with a million possibilities, and none of them create a problem for Xaden in this.
Yeah, I think that's so far the best.
It was such a great, concise idea.
Yeah, and there was only one comment out of hundreds and hundreds of comments on all different platforms. One person suggested, what if it was actually grandma?
It seems so obvious. As soon as we read that, I was like, oh, I'm a sexist dummy. How did it never occur to me?
Yeah, just never crossed my mind. I feel so guilty.
What's the person's name?
I don't know.
You didn't even save their name.
I didn't, but I also didn't get permission to bring it up.
Maybe they're upset with what dummies we are. Maybe they left that comment out of spite, being like, well, you sexist idiots. This could be the reason. And yeah, they would be right to do that.
And then my last question before we get started is, did we ever get an answer from Violet on who bonded her first?
No.
We ended an episode with T asking Violet that question. It goes into the next chapter, chapter 11. Did we get an answer?
No, I don't think we did. Because I think there isn't really one.
What is the importance of the question?
We don't know. If we go back through this, she's defending Andarna, and then Tairn shows up. Oh, you know what? Andarna was the first one to talk to her.
She was, yeah.
So it would be Andarna. But the first name Violet gave, as far as official record, would be Tairn.
And the first one that she realized was Tairn because it was so obvious. And then Andarna just seemed like, what are you doing here? Get out of here.
Yeah. Well, wait, did Andarna talk to her first or did Tairn? I don't remember.
I think Tairn was the first to talk to her because Violet was making snarky comments to her of like, oh, now you do X, Y, Z.
But was it in her head?
I don't know. We only did the audiobook.
I'm not reading that right now to find out. I will research it later. Oh, Wyvern. The size of Wyvern. This is, like, complicated. It's highly debated. I had a thing come up on TikTok where it was, like, showing size comparison. And it was, like, Violet. And then it showed a Venin being larger by 2 feet. And then Violet. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure I don't trust this. Immediately. Because Violet's small, but the Venin are not all 7'4". They're just people who are drawing from the source. But then you have the Griffin, and the Griffin compared to the size of the person made a lot of sense. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like, I like that. And then it was Dragon, and Dragon's much, much larger than Griffin. And then you have Wyvern, and it showed the Wyvern as being bigger than the dragons.
Never once did I imagine the Wyvern bigger than the dragons.
I imagined the Wyvern being a lot closer to the size of a Griffin.
I thought they were right in the middle.
That's what I mean, but I figured they erred on the side of Griffin over Dragon. But the size of dragons varies so much, right? Because Tairn is huge. And then you get the little spindly dragon. Barlow had the small orange dragon, but I thought it was just wild. And then the way they showed them, it was like a dragon's face. They looked like dragons except for not having 4 legs or arms. Or
when I first look up Wyvern versus Dragon, size differences, 4th wing, you get some photos from, not photos, you get some art.
Photos, photographic evidence.
From the subreddit.
Okay.
And in the ones that I've been clicking on, Wyvern are smaller than dragons.
Well, and this is the thing though, which dragons are they smaller than? Like smaller than Tairn could still mean quite a bit bigger than...
Bigger than the average dragon, smaller than Tairn and Zehyllna.
Okay, all right. Well, that still puts them at quite a bit larger than I thought they were. Do they have like dragon-like heads though still? Because that also threw me off. They looked like dragons. Mostly. They mostly looked like dragons in the thing that I saw.
They look like the chicken version of dragons.
Oh, yeah, because the wings are the arms. Like a chicken. I see what you mean. But it was cool. Different mental picture than what I had. Because I was imagining the Wyvern closer to looking like to Toothless in How to Train Your Dragon, where they were very rounded and not sharp edges.
You picture that for a Wyvern?
Yeah. Just without the front legs. But I pictured them being like that. Almost like a big salamander.
Really? I had them I was imagining them really gnarly, like a potion of bones and nasty.
All right, well, I like that this has cleared something up for me, because that will greatly change the way that I'm imagining these fight scenes. But now it's pretty harrowing when you think about 7 of those to every 1 Venin. No wonder the Dragon Riders are getting their asses kicked. Like 2 of those on 1 dragon, he's not coming out of that okay.
It really explains the Liam scene better.
Stop it. I'm not talking about that.
Because I thought it was pretty tiny on.
Moving forward. I refuse to think of this.
Chapter 44, there is an excerpt that says, there are no laws that supersede the unification scrolls. After the second Aretian Accord, all forces should go back to their provinces. Request to ask for a new provincial commitment for the current conflict. I don't know what any of this means, other than everything, no law supersedes the unification. The unification scrolls are the oldest laws?
Well, they're the most important current laws. I think the unification scrolls are similar to Declaration of Independence or Bill of Rights type thing.
Oh.
And then they're asking for each state basically to just re-up. They're like, hey, you're under our thumb. This is by what means you're under our thumb.
Okay. But then the chapter actually begins. After Queen Maria is dead, there's a letter from T. They get out of trouble because of Aaric.
Yeah, which is pretty rad. The king's just so elated that Aaric is alive and well. He's like, nobody committed treason. You're fine again. Once again, Violet's like, my superpower, her second segment is just luck. Pure luck.
I thought they wrote it off pretty quickly. I thought we were going to get a little bit of a scare of the consequences, like they got sent to the cellars or something like that.
They're going to have to swab the poop deck. That's, like pirates.
Do you want to correct the brother thing?
I want to hear you do it again. Yeah, so I was impersonating Randy Savage, and the quote that I gave for everything being brother was Hulk Hogan. I don't know wrestling at all, and it really showed through, and I would like to point out, neither does our fan base, because nobody corrected me.
No one.
I was trying to show my son this, because I was like, oh, look at this. This is such a funny little gag. You would appreciate this. And as I tried to find proof of the fact that this was a pretty decent impression, I found it wasn't. It was an impression of somebody who doesn't say that all the time. R.I.P. Macho Man Randy Savage.
Overall, it was hilarious.
Yeah, it was so dumb. I thought somebody was going to call me out on it.
They might.
Well, now, who cares? I beat him to it unless, this won't be published forever.
Uh-huh.
Damn it. What a bummer.
But they didn't get any consequences. They were released because of Aaric. Fascinating enough, I thought it would have been just Aaric who got out of trouble because he's royalty, but I guess they're fair and equal.
Aaric and friends.
Yes.
Excused.
I wrote down this little detail. There are 40,000 soldiers from Zehyllna. That is quite a bit.
Yeah, depending on how effective they are at fighting Venin. I mean, it might just be 40,000 bodies you need to crawl over, but...
Ooh, I remember why I wrote down 40,000 soldiers from Zehyllna, because while they're in battle brief, we learned that 12 Wyvern took out 25,000 people.
Yeah.
To really show what they're going up against.
This is kind of where I think the whole idea of getting armies from these places is sort of useless.
But what do?
You just fight.
Because Zehyllna is just a little isle.
And their god is luck. What are they going to do?
Hopefully luck is on their side.
Well, hopefully they're out there shooting people in the neck like they did our boy Traeger.
Traeger. Oh, that was his name, right? Yeah, because he's a smoker.
Yeah.
Such a silly name.
Well, he's dead now, so show some respect.
I was fighting with you on Dane getting slapped. I'm like, that hasn't happened yet. This is a spoiler. And you're like, no, it definitely happened. And I forgot all about it already.
That was Xaden's joke of this book. Was I envy the one that got to slap him.
Xaden's funnier than that.
He is in this book.
Good.
Leading up to this book, the last 2 books, no. Xaden is not at all funny.
Especially when you compare him to Ridoc.
Well, especially when you think about the jokes, like, Fourth Wing Xaden is the least funny character ever written. He's just a sex symbol. He's not a funny man. You know what I'm talking about? It's like the guy on TikTok who splits logs. Thorson or whatever. He's not somebody who I would listen to for news or advice. But you want to watch a handsome man cut wood, that's what he's good at. That's what he's there for.
That's what we have Xaden for.
Yeah, that's Xaden.
Back to battle brief. They're discussing how the...
Hold on, I want to clear this up. Xaden is funnier in this book. Don't come at me. I do like Xaden.
I think we can all agree that Ridoc is carrying the humor in this book.
Yeah, but they are all contributing more. Ridoc carried the humor in all the other books. Tairn and Ridoc.
But more so now.
This is a funnier book.
Yeah.
Than the other two, by far.
I like that we get to hear more from all the characters this time. I do think that it's getting a little dry in the book right now because we walked away from it and I'm having a hard time getting back into the book. And the very few reviews that I have seen, I think people feel that way about this little section between 40 to 50 for the chapters.
The sex scene wasn't enough for everybody to jump back into it.
This was a good sex scene here at the end.
Oh, okay.
But still not as top tier as Iron Flame.
Just the throne scene gets you guys through. That is enough.
I don't think it's like that. I think that there was just a lot of tension. And now there is no tension. You know they're together. Now he's fighting it. Wait, are you sure you want to talk about this 3 times?
I'm not in charge, man. I just work here.
Back to battle brief, though. We learned that they snuck in through a storm?
Oh, through a storm so they wouldn't be seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they were like above
the clouds and whatnot. Yeah.
That's really high.
Or the storm was a little low. We don't know.
Can humans even be that high?
What? Above clouds? Yeah.
What?
Adriana, we have snowmobiled in places where trees quit growing. There are clouds below us.
What?
You don't remember this at all, huh?
No, I remember it. I didn't think we were like that, though.
Yeah, you can have storms and things going on below the mountaintops.
I didn't know people actually went up that high.
Oh, yeah.
No, and you're just
you've personally been up that high.
Just flying and breathing?
Yeah, well, we didn't fly. I didn't have a dragon.
Well,
but we were operating machinery. Yeah, it does happen. And it's not insane. Like, I think I don't know if there are birds that naturally fly that high up, because I think the air gets really thin. And I believe that's why the storm is what it is as you go up higher in elevation, air gets thinner and less dense. And then you have the change in air pressure and temperature is what creates these storms. High and low pressure systems meeting, well, up high is always low pressure. So if you have a village that's at the base of a mountain, you could have this. They said there are places in Wyoming where we thought, you go up the mountain and it's snowy and crappy and it's a rough drive. What would take you a half hour in July takes you 2.5 hours at this time, right? But you get on your sled, you unload, and you start heading up the mountain. And then you're like, holy shit, it's a bluebird day. It's blue sky. It's beautiful. It's perfect. Really what happened is you just went above where the storm was.
I had no clue.
Mm-hmm.
So this was a very plausible explanation for sneaking in.
I think what makes it more plausible is that the lady controls weather.
Oh, yeah, that's
so
right.
So I think that's kind of where it comes in. I don't think they were like, meteorologist T says that tomorrow should be a good day to attack the outpost. Looks like our low pressure system's a little lower in elevation. Our high pressure's squeezing up there. We're going to see thunderstorms from about 8 a.m. to noon. That should cover our flight. That would be really fun. All the other Venin are like, I don't know, she's usually right about this sort of thing. That's so stupid. Go ahead.
It's silly.
No.
If you have that much control over the weather, you're just the weatherman at that point.
I mean, it would make more sense for the name meteorologist. Don't you think? When you hear the term meteorologist, I assume that's a person who can control the weather. Then you get older and you find out they're just somebody who predicts it, which isn't as much fun.
Oh, my shocking thing was I didn't realize that the news anchors or the people on TV talking, presenting, actually knew how to do the predicting.
Generally speaking, yes, your weatherman is a meteorologist.
I did not know that. I thought it was like a celebrity and they're just reading a prompt that was done by the actual meteorologist in the back.
I love that somebody would go in and audition for the part of, I want to be on the TV for 22 minutes a day, pointing at a map, explaining weather. They're like, this is my dream part. but I don't actually know what's going on with weather. Like, it's okay. We're going to hire 2 people, one to predict it and one to point at the map.
I don't think it's an outrageous statement when you know that all news people are good looking. Maybe not gorgeous, like model, handsome.
You had a different weatherman than we did. Okay, you're going to have to beep this name out. I want you to Google. Beep. Did you find him?
Yeah, he looks like a normal, average-looking man.
Yes, he's an average-looking human.
Yeah, they're either average or above average. I'll stand by that at least.
What?
Yes.
Adri, hold on. Let me see this photo. Are we looking at the same guy? You believe that's an above-average-looking man, not just a man that's wearing makeup.
I would not say there is a news anchor that is on the ugly side.
Really?
So, teenager me.
What about bleep this name too? Old beep.
His face is not on TV.
Fuck that. I saw him. He was being casted on the news. That's where I've seen him the most, actually. I think in general that's true. I think you're seeing them on the news and going, they must be better looking than I think they are. And your brain is immediately cranking them up a notch or two.
I just didn't think it was an outrageous stretch to assume that they were just hired for their ability to present news.
Let me see. Do you believe this to just be a regular person wearing makeup and nice clothes or an above average looking person?
Fine.
Okay, hold on. But we're not done yet. There's more science to be done here. Haircut or handsome? Which one is it?
All right, you proved your point.
Hold on. We could do more. Just a regular looking guy in a suit or a handsome man?
Give me my phone back.
These are all people from the news station that we have. I didn't even go to some other news station.
You learn something new every day.
They're not all Anderson Cooper looking dudes. Or who is your favorite one?
I guess I thought that the news anchors and all of that was more in the marketing side of someone that can speak and present, just more communications degree than a meteorologist. Obviously, they're meteorologists. Just younger me thought, oh, you just know how to read well.
I think that's a big part of it. I think most of them have journalist degrees.
Yeah, journalism is more what I thought it was.
Yeah, I don't think they require a journalism degree for the weather. Honestly, the weatherman is my favorite part of the news because I do see them as the most earnest individual there. They're not trying to sell me something. They're just trying to tell me whether or not I need a coat. Like, I like that. And they seem to have more freedom. They're like, hey, let's have some fun with it. We're going to name hurricanes weird women's names. Oh, Irene. We haven't heard that one in a while. Throw it on a hurricane.
How funny would it be if the
Hurricane T's coming?
Or she just names the storms and catastrophic events that she causes.
After her wyvern. That would be so cute. I think she names the wyvern names too.
Oh, that would be so cool. She just picks one wyvern and she names it the storm, and then she destroys whole cities.
Yeah. And she's like, oh, this one's name was Raiden. Not to be confused with your guy. It just destroys the place. I got sidetracked on that one because as soon as I was thinking of a storm name, I thought of lightning. And when I think of lightning, I thought of Raiden from Mortal Kombat.
I was wondering what this was from. I didn't know.
That would be a cool way to envision Violet's superpowers.
Ooh, as a Mortal Kombat fighter?
As Raiden, yeah.
Other than she dresses more appropriately than the characters in that game.
Do you know what Raiden looks like?
No, but I do know what some of those female characters look like.
List one. Show me a photo. I don't believe you.
Shut the hell up. Get out of here.
I actually don't know a single female fighter's name in that show, which is a problem for me. Because I'm a fan of the franchise, but I clearly don't care about any of the characters. I only know about Luke Cage.
Luke Cage? I thought that was Marvel.
Shit. Johnny Cage. Sorry. Luke Cage is Marvel. I don't know any of the characters' names except Raiden. Scorpion. And
you'll think of them as you would need them.
And the Ice Guy. Sub-Zero. That would have been such a cool code name for our funny guy, for Ridoc. Sub-Zero. I'm going to be on Quest Squad. Call me Sub-Zero. It would have been so rad.
That would be awesome. Wait, we need to get back on track.
Sorry.
But we're also going to get a little off track because the next scene kind of cracks me up.
Okay.
They're sitting in battle brief. They're going through, they have to answer these questions. And part of the reason that I love this series so much, and overall romanticy, I'm finding out, is it's angsty. Violet is sitting there quietly. She knows the answer, but she doesn't want to give the answer. The teacher looks at her like, you know the answer. And Violet's like, but I can't say it if what I think is true. And they're like, just say it. And what Deverelli was asking is, who would you send in? These cadets never list anyone outside of the college. Actual fighters with years of experience. But it is always a disadvantage when they say someone who is a cadet, well, we could send this cadet, but they're a cadet. And then Rhiannon finally speaks up. She's like, I'll say it then. I would send Violet.
No, Rhiannon was the one who was supposed to say it the whole time. She's the squad leader.
Yeah, but the whole reason you don't say Violet is because she's a cadet, which is so silly. But then she's just like sitting there in this angsty moment of, no, don't do it. She has to say it. Or they're just going back and forth. And It reminded me of Princess Diaries, where she gets her hair done and she wraps it up in a hat. And she goes into class and she's like hiding, trying to not be seen or noticed and all of this other stuff. And then finally someone like rips it off and her hair just beautifully falls and she looks all shamefully like, oh no.
I'm sexy. Oops.
And they're trying to like make fun of her and all this stuff. But yeah, that's what this scene reminded me of, is Violet just trying to deny that she's a badass. She's like, don't say it.
Okay, not completely unrelated to what you just said. I remember being made fun of so much because I thought Anne Hathaway in the beginning of that movie was so much hotter than what they turned her into. I was just like, oh, frizzy hair. Hello, young lady. And then they're like, do like the whole modelly thing with her. And I'm like, well, now she just looks like everybody else on TV. But I like the big goofy glasses, the frizzy hair. I was like, that's my girl.
Which is really funny because right now I have sleek, straight hair and no glasses.
My type has changed, baby. It's all you now.
I thought it was just really funny.
Oh, I do remember this scene very well because Violet's like, just say me, Ree, in her head or whatever. And Ree's like, I don't want to say you, Violet. And then Violet's like, you must, it's the right answer. And Deverelli's like waiting for her to be like, we're going to send in Sorengale because she can throw lightning and fucking murder some people. And finally, Ree says it kind of like half triumphantly. And then afterwards, Sawyer's like, I can't believe you'd fucking sell out Violet. And Violet's like, stop it. It's her job.
Yeah.
I think I do remember the scene, and it was funny, but I don't think I've had as many moments of conflict with myself. There's a lot of conflictedness in the lives of these people.
What do you mean?
Where Ree knows the answer she should give, but she feels conflicted because she and Violet are friends. She wouldn't have any issue sending anybody who she wasn't friends with in this scenario.
Yeah, I remember her being conflicted and confused why she's conflicted because it was all hypothetical. We're not actually sending anyone out there.
Right. It's acknowledged that it's odd, even in the moment. And then Violet's kind of conflicted with Xaden, where she's like, I just want him to touch me, but I also don't want him to be tempted to draw from the source. But I'm going to keep putting myself in danger so that he's tempted. But should I? But I shouldn't. Like, she's also conflicted, and I think it's a natural, normal human thing that I just don't experience as much.
You are a very confident, certain individual.
I think I just don't have as complex of things going on in my life, generally. Like, I'm stressed by the simplicity of my life occasionally. I'm like, oh, I gotta do this, and this, and this. I know what I need to do. It's not a mystery to me. But for these people, it's a mystery. They're like, well, is this the right answer? And I'm like, I don't have to make decisions.
Do you find it odd that all of the cadets only know about each other in these examples when they're suggesting people to send in? Because this isn't the first time that they've played this game. And the oldest person or people that they suggest outside of Bezgayath is Mira.
Yeah, you're saying for the quest squad thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I find it a little odd that there aren't other well-seasoned people that would be great to take on this, but I don't think you would want to remove super effective people from the outposts either. So I think you're kind of trying to make this squad, you're going to take things that affect what's currently happening the least. And I think that's the justification I would use. Gotcha.
I guess I was just having fun with the idea that it's always got to be them.
You don't think like Carl from Outpost 13? You're like, hey, why not Carl? He's a talented whatever he does. What should Carl do?
He has years of experience.
Of doing what? Exactly. Is he just breathing underwater like our favorite writer? Also, I don't know why Heaton wasn't brought along.
I don't know what's going on with Heaton. I just want to know if they have a second signet.
Here's the thing. If Heaton could have come on this adventure and not had any issues at all, because Heaton doesn't get to use their signet either way, and they couldn't use him while they were gone. This could have just been a great time to develop Heaton as a character, where their signet wasn't a big plot point. But no, we could have found out Heaton was a great fighter. Heaton could have been the one when they went to the Dune people and beat up the queen.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate for Heaton. Heaton just kind of gets ignored because they don't have this super signet. They do, but they're keeping it a secret.
They do. Their signet is going unnoticed. Maybe Heaton was there the whole time. Nobody noticed because Heaton's like, I have the power of, imperceptibility.
That would actually be a really cool one.
Right? It could be there. We don't know.
Back to this. Sawyer's not ready to fly. End of chapter 44 is Ridoc makes Violet tell everybody that Xaden is becoming Venin.
Oh, yeah. I want to bring up how Ridoc is the backbone of this group right now.
Absolutely.
I have a sad idea that has occurred to me.
Which is?
Of all the characters that would crush me, that I would feel a betrayal about if something did happen, it would be Ridoc.
You can't get rid of Ridoc.
No, not Ridoc dying. Like Ridoc betrays somebody, because it's brought up that there's a betrayal. There's a person among them who is feeding information to somebody they shouldn't be. What if it was Ridoc?
I thought it would have been that, not Amber. Who did Violet fight? And I talked about her pinning her hand.
That was Amber.
No, it wasn't.
Or
Amber
that was
Torch.
Bindhaven. It starts with an A.
I thought Bindhaven was with...
Aura Bindhaven is
Yeah.
the one who Violet was fighting and pinned her glove.
I've been wondering if Aura is a Venin because I think she was the one that was with Barlow. And I pointed this out one time that the scene is really happy. It was after Barlow saved Violet. And you just get this like 2-second, this little 2-sentence thing of Violet turns and looks at Barlow and he nods at her. And he was talking with Aura, and then she takes a drink, and that's when she gets knocked out after they stole the book. There was just this 2 sentences right in that moment, and I thought it was Aura who was hanging out with Barlow.
Dumb question. Is it Aura or Aura?
Aura.
No, I wasn't positive.
A-U-R-A.
Aura, okay.
Aura.
How the hell do you spell Aura?
No clue.
A-U-R-A is somebody's like Aura.
Yeah. I think Aura.
Aura. Okay.
Bindhaven.
You know what? We'll run it. No, you're right. That's fair. It could be her. The only reason I don't believe she's Venin is she doesn't appear to be good at staying behind the scenes and kind of blending in.
I thought she was the perfect example. Someone that you've heard a little bit about, but not enough to figure out if they're a Venin, but enough that if it's brought up later, it would be like, oh yeah, we've heard this name before.
And she did sort of sabotage the mission with Grady.
Yeah, I think she was inept.
Can we just discuss how quickly fucking Grady died?
Yeah, that was out of nowhere.
I felt kind of bad. I'm like, man, I had more thoughts on this guy in the other book. He seemed like a different character in this book than he was in the other one.
Mira made a comment about, it's like you're sabotaging this mission. And then he gets torched and dies, and we never hear from him ever again. Well, obviously we wouldn't.
Yeah, well, we haven't yet. It's a Lion King moment up in the sky. It's just Professor Grady's head being made out of constellations. You will find the Earids. That would be fun. That's what I want, actually. I want more constellation talking. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
No.
In the Lion King. When
Right.
his dad dies, and then he's up in the stars. It's everything the light touches.
Definitely not from Grady. It has to be from Violet's dad. And
It could be from both. They could be talking at the same
You know
time.
what? You do get it. You get that in the excerpts from letters from her dad.
Not one from Grady, though.
We don't need to hear from Grady.
I kind of would like to. I'd like to know what the hell was going on in his head. You're behind the door. Why not say, hey, it's me? You can hear the girls arguing on the other side of it.
I'm really worried someone's going to be dying in the next 10 chapters.
Can we also discuss the irony of why Aura was on that mission?
Why?
Because Grady trusted her. He's like, I trust everybody. He opens the door and she torched him. You misplaced your trust. Fatally.
It was such an odd bunch. What if they were all Venin?
Violet's got some explaining to do. The only Venin we know that was there was Xaden.
True. And he can sense them.
Yeah. Yeah, I would assume he would be more aware.
Chapter 45, there's another dream. It's the dead sage. She mentioned, I thought he was dead. There's lightning in the background. Andarna screams. And I have the quote, I'll allow you to help her this time. And something about silver hair. Something about silver hair to the background, to the side. I thought it was Violet.
It could be, but it could also be T.
You think so?
I don't know, man.
I thought it was Xaden and Violet, and the dream ends with Tyrrendor's sword coming to the chest.
Oh, man, I don't remember this.
You don't?
No.
I think that's how the end of the book is going to be.
Okay.
Is this scene.
I also want to bring something up and correct a guess that I had for Violet's second segment. It isn't a dream thing. She's not invading anybody's dreams. She's just seeing the future through other perspectives.
And it's her dream, though?
Well, she is...
Oh, like That's So Raven. She's just blacking out for a minute.
Yeah, but she's asleep already, so we don't get the moment where we go into our pupils and the world is spinning.
That is so funny.
I can't believe we never brought this up before. I keep thinking, I want to bring this up because I need to correct this. And then I'm like, I didn't do that.
So because she's falling asleep, if she gets control of her powers, it would be like a That's So Raven moment where she just like blacks out and it zooms in and she's having this vision of the future.
Yes. Yeah, that's it. It's not always from her perspective. And that's where the mystery comes in. Whose perspective is it from? At what point in time is it there? Because so far it's not been a real useful signet, to be fair.
No,
it's prevented nothing. It's allowed her to see what is happening from another perspective.
By the time we get to book 5, she'll realize what her second signet is and be able to use it.
Well, and I think she's just such a powerful intrinsic, is what it is. Because she's also piping thoughts into Xaden's head.
We were told that it is the most dangerous signet ever given.
Yeah, which I stand by. It could also just be hope. Or it's super luck, which is where we're at too. She has no consequences.
That has to do with just being this type of book. So we have to ignore those ones. Xaden bought Violet lingerie from Deverelli, or a robe.
I was going to say, I didn't think it was lingerie, but I'm maybe not in that frame of mind.
It's like the see-through robe that Cat had.
It's just Cat's robe. Like, it would still fit you, right?
No.
One for her, one for her. He bought them both one.
Oh, no.
That would be funny if that was his go-to move.
No. No.
No?
Stop.
You wouldn't think it was a little funny?
No.
The person's like, Xaden, we have 4 more of these. Then you're done. No more. He's like, I'm only going to need 3.
No. Violet saw it when they were in Deverelli, and he noticed her looking at it, and then he had it sent to her.
Okay.
That's the story. And Kat got her own. Xaden didn't get that.
Kat got her own?
Yeah.
You don't think that Xaden got that for her?
No.
He's like, I like my titties to look soft and a little opaque.
Stop.
No? All right, fine.
They are in their flight class, and they have to do a running landing maneuver.
What the hell? You moved straight from lingerie to flight class?
Well, chapter 45, she wakes up from her dream. She has the package of lingerie, and she's like, oh.
Hello.
Oh, hello there. This is
It would
thoughtful.
be hilarious if it had a little note that also said from T.
It was actually T who noticed.
Yeah.
And
She's like, I saw you looking at this, and I also thought it'd look cute on you. Thank me later.
That is the twist that we need.
I think it would be great if T's just cupiding her way through this place.
And Xaden gets all the credit.
Yeah, she's like, my Venin brother, I've been taking care of you longer than you know. That's how she convinces Xaden to come to her side. Like, I'll keep your lady in lingerie. I think this would be awesome.
Because he doesn't say anything about him being the one that sent it later. He just admires her in it.
Yeah, well, doesn't Violet say something about it, though?
Probably, but I'm going to assume T sent it to her now.
Let's run it with T. T's just dispersing lingerie to the riders. She's like, I actually know the way to take over Navarre. It could work. Devera's like, something's fighting my pain powers. Somebody else is trying to take over.
It would make sense if T is collecting signets if she has a counter signet to Devera's.
which is anti-horny.
Wait a minute, that's not working.
That wouldn't work. I think it's the same segment. I don't think she has anti-signets. She's not shooting anti-lightning around. She's shooting lightning.
Right.
She's wielding storms, not great weather. It's not like a storm comes and she's like, don't worry, I know what to do. The sun comes shining. Ooh. That would be really funny.
What if Deverelli has peen power and T has bean power?
Ooh, the power of the pink canoe.
You're such a butthole.
Don't you think that'd be cool? I'd dig it. She'd be like, you're soaked, pow. She gets him.
Okay, so chapter 45. Violet gets lingerie from T. That is now...
canon.
What we're going
Until we're corrected.
They go to flight class. They have to learn the running landing maneuver. Violet compliments Bodhi, and Xaden says it'd be a shame to kill my only living relative.
Again, he's so jealous, and it's so funny.
It was kind of ice cold of Violet, though.
To just compliment Bodhi and be like, God damn, I kind of forgot that he's really good at this.
She was doing it. She was kind of goating Xaden with this a little bit.
You think so?
Yeah, she was trying to be funny.
Yeah, like when you're funny, though, like imagine I got really jealous every time you complimented another man. I send you TikToks of men doing crazy cool things. Sometimes I'm like, look at this guy do this thing. I should quit doing that. That's what I'm learning. Xaden's onto something.
No, it's unfair to Violet. I think she was truly complimenting Bodhi, but then she was kind of messing with him a little bit.
She's like, wow, he can do all of that, and he has a massive hog.
Because I think Xaden's first response was, well, yeah, he's amazing. He's related to me.
He's my cousin.
Exactly. But then it's Violet's turn. She jumps and Tairn catches her feet. No.
Nope, he doesn't. Imagine she jumps, goes face first. Tairn catches her feet and lifts her before her head hits the fucking ground. Concussion avoided. He's like, we're going to get you a helmet, Sorengale.
Tairn catches her a few feet from the ground. She attacks the thing.
The dummy.
Yep. And Tairn grabs her. And I don't think Tairn gets enough credit for his ability to...
just gently grasp her?
Yeah, he's done this a few times.
He's like a claw machine.
Yeah, but he's so good.
Yeah.
And especially when we learned about the Wyvern pinching or whatever aura, that's how she died. Was she went out to go get caught by her dragon, and then a Wyvern comes up and like pierces a claw through her chest.
Yeah.
That's how I picture these scenes going when Tairn has to go down and like pinch, like really pinching her jacket, just the leather, not her shoulders.
And she's not wearing loose-fitting clothing.
No.
He's missing skin. He's amazing.
Incredible. And the speeds that he's going.
You remember when I told you about that guy that I saw open a pop with a helicopter?
What?
Yeah. He like duct taped this thing to the skid on the helicopter and he popped the top of a pop.
Which is really fascinating because I don't think you can even see that well.
Well, glass floor.
Oh.
Observance floor in it.
Oh.
Search and rescue helicopter.
I always like watching the forklift videos where they do those little maneuvers.
Yeah, and I think it's really cool to see heavy equipment do tiny things or dainty tasks, right? In this huge machine to do it.
Yeah, we saw an excavator lift up dirt and drop just the tiniest amount in this man's butt crack.
Yeah, and that was so cool. Same.
Same.
Or same. It's very impressive.
Very
That's what
dainty.
Tairn's doing. A dainty business, big machine. I think it's always so fun to see, but usually it's also a reflection of how well upkept the equipment is to be able to make minor movements because hydraulic pressure is what actuates all that stuff.
Actually, I wonder if this scene, I wasn't paying attention and Violet did her T-pose and Tairn just needs to wrap around, which is still impressive, but wrap around her arms.
I think that's actually what happened, but I was going to roll the other way in case you were right. Because in my head, that's kind of what happened is she like put her arms out and then it was just...
Because they had a moment when Xaden was like getting her out of there at an outpost when they first saw Mira. You remember that scene? He like kisses her, throws her arms up and he like ducks as Tairn like swoops in and takes her away. But the scene gets more badass.
Wait, are you talking about when they're in this book?
No, Iron Flame.
Okay. All right, I was saying this book, he's hugging her while it happens.
That was several chapters back.
Yes.
Yeah. In this one, I bet she did put her arms out and Tairn grabbed her that way.
Yeah, an even flow started playing.
Yes. Even
Flow. I'm here to help.
It's still impressive, and the scene gets better because Tairn grabs her daintily with his claws without crushing her, and then he flings her up.
Yeah. Cirque du Soleil style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she lands on his back. Not even on his back. I think it was up by his head by some horns or something. She like latched on.
Latched on. Sounds like a baby finding the nipple. She latched onto Tairn.
Because
Visual. It's so funny to me.
I wasn't even listening
Just
to you.
suckling on a horn.
Stop.
Damn, Violet. She's like, it's been a while, Xaden.
But
Oh,
if you were to have a TV show of this, it would be superhero level abilities.
homie, it's Bollywood. This is
Yeah.
not happening in superhero movies. I imagine it's like Bollywood where like they're doing like 12 flips in the air and then landing on their feet and they're not dizzy.
Well, she'll say little comments of like the impact of my spine, but
Yeah.
you would have been
Concussed.
impaled by a horn.
I think it really goes to show how amazing Tairn is. Also, Tairn talks her through this
He does.
because she's like, we can't do that. And he's like, you'll do something a little different, but it'll be just as cool. And then she's like, fine, I guess. I trust you. And he's like, yeah, you fucking should. I'm always out here doing cool shit.
What were the other writers doing though?
Watching Violet do awesome shit.
No.
Oh.
I mean, what did their running landing maneuver look like?
It was like the tuck and roll, right? You come off the dragon, you sort of tuck and roll, attack the target, and then jump off a little cliff thing, and then onto the back of your dragon.
Oh, okay.
Is
And what
how it went
Violet
visually for me.
Okay, and then what I visualized for Violet was she is being dropped from a very high altitude, and then Tairn comes in, swoops in, and like catches her at the last second to ease her to the ground.
Yeah, like she jumped off, she attacked the dummy, and then jumps off the cliff thing, and then Tairn scoops up, grabs her, flings her, and she lands.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm envisioning too. It's a little Bollywood, and it's so badass.
But I find it more badass than everybody else's too.
Yeah, it kind of is. And that's
How-
why she gets away with it, because the instructor's like, that is not what you were supposed to do, but it was pretty fucking cool. And then just lets her go with it. Like, everybody gets a couple high fives. Can we talk about Aaric, though? He also does well at this, I believe.
Incredible. And I think they even kind of make someone makes a backhanded comment about how he doesn't have a signet, but at least he's badass.
Yeah, he's so cool. It reminds me of Liam, first year. Liam was good at everything and then
Agreed.
pretended not to have a signet until Violet got one.
Yeah, you're still holding on to.
He was the perfect man. What do you think about Dane and Cat?
I like it, but I thought it was more fitting with Cat with Bodhi because Cat would want a chance of kingdoms.
All right. You're right.
It seemed more fitting for her character.
Just occurred to me. I'm just like, Dane and Cat would be good too.
I hope Dane finds somebody. Seems pretty lonely.
Yeah.
But
Maybe it's Dane and Ridoc.
that's an option.
That would be cool. Or Ridoc and Heaton.
I feel like Dane wouldn't do well with Ridoc because of Dane's ego. And if Ridoc is bigger than Dane, I don't think that would go over well.
Maybe Dane's got a monster hog.
Okay.
That could make all the difference.
that
There's people
could.
out there like, everybody's measuring themselves up somehow, right?
So Ridoc is bigger than Dane, but Dane has the bigger.
Ridoc is more muscular. Yeah.
Yeah,
And Dane is, maybe he's rocking a horse sausage.
maybe.
He's just like, nay, my boy.
Back on task, though. They go through all of that. That scene kind of just ends because, yeah, he throws her to his back and she lands, and everyone's like, that's unorthodox, but that was awesome. They move on. It's Xaden's birthday. Did you catch that?
No, I didn't.
It's Xaden's birthday, and she gets him Onyx wrist cuffs.
Yes.
It makes me think of those, like,
Nickelback.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100% where I was at too. I'm like, this is so fucking funny.
You made a disturbing comment about Xaden the other day.
Oh.
You said,
say?
what if he wears skinny jeans?
Have you considered it?
I haven't considered it, but I think I did put him in skinny leathers.
Well, nobody wants to see somebody wearing loose-fitting leather pants.
Yeah, he's in tight leathers
Which
with
is
boots.
skinny jeans. Yeah. And the boots stick up above the jeans. Because you're not tucking leather pants over top of them.
No, you're right.
It's like work boots.
But when he goes out for the night, what type of pants is he wearing?
What do you mean when he goes out for the night? What's he doing at night?
Well, I mean, like if they were to go out to a bar or something, what's he wearing?
Same thing. He wears rider black, leather pants.
He's just in his work uniform?
First of all, yes. If we go out, do I dress differently?
No.
Oh, okay. It's a pet peeve. I see. I've struck a nerve. All right, fair.
So he just changes into clean work clothes to go out drinking?
Clean shirt. Throw some deodorant on, clean shirt, brushes his teeth, and he's good to go.
That does sound like him.
A couple spritzes of Aqua de Jo. Here's the real one that gets me. Do you think he uses hair products?
Yeah, he does. But like...
In your head, it's a moose.
Yeah, I feel like he probably takes care of his hair and Bodhi and Garrick make fun of him for it.
Yeah, I would. Like, what are you doing? Gross. Is he putting mousse in your hair? You goober.
Because he's going to go see Violet. Obviously, he's going to take care of his hair.
I don't think he leaves his room without looking good. He knows what he's about. And more power to the guy. I like it.
He seems to be in denial how good looking he is sometimes.
No, he acts exactly like he knows how good looking he is. No ugly person behaves the way he does. He acts like he doesn't know how good looking he is. What? We're talking about two very different characters.
Do you think he would have a bad day if he went about walking by women and none of them have the intention to bang him? He's like, oh my God, I need to go back and take care of my hair.
Yeah.
Do I smell bad?
Yeah, I think it would ruin his day. I mean, a part of you may not want the compliments, but a huge part of self-confidence comes from that. If it's something you've been complimented on before, you kind of draw on that.
Nobody compliments him.
Not outwardly. He can literally read their thoughts. And we've also heard people in the first book be like, yeah, he's hot, but he's a problem.
Wait, if his signet are little snapshots of like images, is it just women wanting to bang him and men wanting to bang him, and those are the images? It's just like porn thrown in his face?
It's the intention. They intend to kiss him. They intend to touch him. They want to squeeze his big old arms. They want to squeeze his big old cock. They want to peel them jeans off him, all sweaty, and sniff the flavors.
I didn't really consider the images that would be sent his way.
Well, the images he's trying to collect. Bear in mind, it's not a passive signet.
Oh, wait. Yeah, he would have to be engaging in that signet to get those dick pics. Well, not dick pics, but you know what I mean.
It'd be weird if it was pictures of his own penis, but just what they assumed it looked like. I think that would be super fun. Honestly, I wish I had that power. We just meet people and be like, what do you think it looks like? You could tell a lot by what that person thinks of you by what they think your dick looks like.
I have no words. I don't go about my day imagining that ever.
You've never imagined somebody else's penis?
Oh my God, no.
Really?
Gross. No.
Yeah, gross. Who would do that? I do it all the time. I have an image in my head of every man I've ever met what their dick looks like.
Really?
Yeah, every one of them. That dude's got a little wiener. That dude's got a crazy hug. That dude's wiener, he's uncut. That dude's definitely cut. You can tell.
So you have radar for dick size?
No, I could be wrong. I don't, confirm it with them. Shake their hand and then grab their junk. Are you and you can tell the difference between growers and showers, I think. Personality-wise.
I would have never guessed.
I think you would have.
I guess I could guess, but I mean, I've seen so little that I wouldn't know.
You've seen so little penises.
So teeny tiny.
Itsy bitsy. I love how you're staring me in the eyes. All right. I know what I'm putting on the internet next.
Back to Xaden with his wrist cuffs, though. I like to imagine that's what he's wearing moving forward all the time.
Which song do you think is playing?
Oh my, I don't have one.
Really?
What song?
It's just Rockstar. He's not that complicated.
At this point, he is 47 days sober.
For some reason, I thought you were going to say years old. I was like, whoa. Yeah, 47 days sober.
And we learned that the Wyvern are getting through the Aretian wards.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot there. Chapter 46, we get an excerpt of a letter from Violet to Xaden. And I think it's about stuff that we have already experienced before.
Yeah, I don't remember what was the contents.
I think it was something about like when she first fell in love with him.
Oh my God. Yeah. Here's the thing. It probably isn't that much rehashing when you only read it once. I think reading the book a second time has made it seem like this is constantly coming up. And in reality, it's just, no, I've reviewed it twice the amount Violet has.
Chapter 46 was confusing. I think what I figured out is Kaori is taking a group of cadets to Aretia, and Kaori wanted to go because he was hoping to get a glimpse of Andarna.
Yeah, that sounds right to me.
I think they get there, and there's a confusing argument between Llewellyn and Aaric and Kaldir about not letting in civilians. Then Xaden shows up with brighter amber in his eyes than what she's used to. Then Halden shows up, and Ridoc and Sawyer start like tallying bets of who's going to win. This is just a confusing scene.
I think it makes sense for tension on it, right? Where Navarre doesn't want refugees still. They're still being dickheads about it. And Xaden's like, fuck that. Tyrrendor's my place. I make the decisions there. And the prince is like, no, it's still in Navarre. It's still my place. You're just taking care of it for me.
Yes, because Halden starts like threatening that he'll send in soldiers, which is such a waste of people.
Which wouldn't fucking matter. Which I think is kind of what Xaden has brought up a few times in this book. Like, you only have half of this army. The other half is mine. And I could easily convince more of them to be mine. Like, chill out, dude.
What was Halden's whole reason for not letting in civilians? Because I understand if it's not having the resources, but if Xaden is willing to take on providing those resources, then that's on Xaden.
I think it's taking on more responsibility. Not that I agree with Halden in this, but it kind of makes sense. If you can't keep your own country safe, quit extending. You keep extending yourself and spreading yourself out thinner and thinner, right? The more you're trying to accommodate more people.
But then to have a pissy match with Xaden when Xaden's like, I'll take on that risk.
Yeah, like I said, I think there's the part of me that just wants to agree with Xaden is the part of me that I would like to listen to. But there's a legitimate point to be made on the other side. Like, Xaden, you're willing to take on this risk, but it's not entirely your decision.
And then Halden threatens to send the troops to stop him, and Xaden threatens to make Aaric next in line.
Yeah, which I think was a great play. And I do want to point out, I do agree with Xaden. They should be allowing people in.
Do you remember what happened next?
No.
Unfamiliar shadows.
Yes, I do remember what happened next.
Do you want to retell it?
I don't remember who got the signet.
Lynx.
Yeah, okay, and we've heard that name a few times, but where else were they?
I don't know who they are.
Okay, unfamiliar shadows start creeping around. And Violet's like, the fuck? Xaden's like, those aren't my babies. And then they look over and Lynx is having a panic attack. And Xaden goes over and so calmly and so sweetly, like a papa bear, explains to him, like, find your happy place. Center yourself. These are your shadows. They're not here to hurt you. Life is good. You're going to have control over them. And Violet's like, oh my God, another shadow wielder. Because it's super fucking rare. And Xaden's like, this is the balance that magic called for. I'm on my way out. Somebody else needed it. And I think it was really cool.
I think this would be Xaden's tipping point.
Well, this person may wield shadows, but they don't wield shadows like Xaden does.
No. What do you think of all of this? There being another shadow wielder.
Great. Awesome. I think it's sort of meant to give Xaden a moment of pause, but I don't think that they measure up to who Xaden is. Xaden is an incredibly powerful shadow signet.
I guess I wasn't picturing Xaden as being on the Venin side to where magic would need to counter it.
But I don't think magic is a consciousness. And I don't necessarily know that it's countering anything. I think the balance of we have this going on, which is more pure, the Dragon Rider's magic, right? And then you have this going on, which is less pure, which is a Dragon Rider who has turned Venin. He may be an initiate, but he is Venin.
I wasn't sure what to think of all of it.
Here's my question. How fucking pissed would you have been if you were a Griffin flyer and you learned that the Venin also get signets?
Oh, yeah.
Only the Griffin Riders don't get signets. They are the inferior critter.
So, and it was Lynx who is manifesting. They're shadow wielder. Xaden's giving up. Violet tries to make him stay and meet in Aretia. he ends up just like walking away. That's why I thought that it was his breaking point. She talks to Llewellyn and finding the balance and being with someone in power. It's almost like they're having like multiple conversations. He's having one that is about you're a girl who's interested in a man who is a duke and the complications of that versus, wait a minute, what if Llewellyn was in love with Xaden's mom? Because he was making it seem like he was in love with somebody that he shouldn't have been.
I don't know.
It was an odd conversation. It was a long one.
Yeah, it went on a long time. And Violet kind of got the same thing out of it that I did, where the way Llewellyn was posing this information was the individual whom you are in love with's primary responsibility is to their position in life. You come secondary, and therefore, if you love them, you have to just support them in their position. It came off kind of like the trad wife sort of thing.
It did, yes.
Okay, because that's where I was like, what the fuck? No, you have 2 dragons. You're probably the most powerful dragon rider ever. He's the Duke of Tyrrendor. There's been a bunch of them. Your name is going to be etched in stone.
I took the conversation almost like Violet needs to be someone like Kat, like the trad wife, where that has been your goal, is to be a partner.
But you're a partner to the position and not to the person.
Exactly.
Right.
And obviously that doesn't go well with Violet. But anybody who knows Xaden also knows that Xaden's going to put Violet above everybody and everything, even Tyrrendor. And I think he even said this already.
Several times.
Yeah. Chapter 47. This is an upsetting excerpt. A dragon determines its last fight and its rider's last flight.
Right.
I was not ready to read chapter 47. I thought Sawyer was not going to make it. I thought Sawyer was going to get on the dragon and then fall off.
But can we take 5 minutes to understand Sawyer's mechanism for riding this dragon?
Was just like hiccups.
It's fucking hiccups. It's hiccups. I was like, you have to be shitting me. Come on.
I thought a lasso would have been pretty cool.
What?
Yeah.
On the dragon?
Yeah, just
Puts
like
a leash on it?
Not a leash. No, that would be insulting, right?
Right.
I was thinking you just cowboy it. You got your lasso, rope up there, and then you put it back to your side.
I am so curious as to how you think cowboys get on horses right now.
How would a cowboy get on a dragon with horns,
Cowboys
spines?
don't ride dragons.
Dragons aren't real.
The lasso is not a method of getting on the horse.
I didn't assume what lassos are for getting on the horse.
How's the lasso helping him get on the dragon?
Because he can't crawl up the leg, so he lassos up on a horn on the spine. There's tons of spikes all along there.
So the one area where this is like a cowboy is he has a lasso.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you were saying, he uses a lasso like a cowboy would. I'm like, cowboys don't use them to get on the horse.
They use them for rope things.
Yes, that's true. They do. I was just imagining a cowboy is like, time to get on the horse, and they lasso the saddle. They got the horn. They're pulling themselves toward the horse. Scale.
Xaden does it all the time with his shadows.
All the time.
Yeah, he cowboys himself up to Zehyllna.
He does. I'm not disagreeing. I think the shadow lasso makes more sense to me than Sawyer packing around a rope and then climbing up the side of his dragon.
I think it's better than having this hook thing that could hurt your dragon. And also, I don't quite understand how the hook thing works anyways. Violet makes a comment about there's a row of scales that don't overlap. So the hook could potentially hook onto those scales. But that would never, I guess you could, I don't know.
The logistics of Sawyer's leg is really an issue for you, though, in this.
No, I think it was the fact that you would have a body covered in scales that overlap for logical reasons, right?
Right.
Except for one row on each leg up to the spot to where the saddle spot is.
Perhaps it's the center row where the scales all come together.
Maybe.
I
think it was just thrown in there so he could have the little hook thing when we could have had a lasso.
You're right. Rebecca, you fucked up. What could have been rope is now scales.
And his dragon was such an ass.
No, his dragon was not.
He huffed steam in their face so hot it was close to burning.
because he was being down on himself. His dragon said, I want you to ride me. And he's like, I may not be good enough, blah, blah, blah. He's not tairn. He shouldn't have to make exceptions for me to ride, blah, 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 blah.
And then Violet gets down on herself. She's like, wait a minute. Do you find that like insulting or something like that?
And Tairn's like, fuck you. I didn't bond you for your ability to climb on my back. And that's basically what his dragon is telling him. He's like, motherfucker, just get on. Let's go. Because the whole time Sawyer's been down on himself and pouty, his dragon hasn't got to ride with his boy.
I guess I saw Sawyer's dragon to be more drink the Kool-Aid of the Empyrean, where they're very pretentious, don't bow to humans, like the leaning down, is how I pictured Sawyer's dragon in this scene.
No, his dragon's like, you can do this. I will do whatever you need. And Sawyer's like arguing with him, like, you don't have to. I'll figure it out so you don't need to. And his dragon's just like, just fucking get on.
We didn't hear his dragon ever say anything. I just assumed the worst, I guess, this entire time.
No, but I think the way Sawyer was talking with it, and then that pissing off the dragon, should lead us to believe that the dragon just wanted to support Sawyer.
Really?
Yeah.
And why was he huffing hot steam in their faces?
Because they were being ornery about him not needing help and blah, 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 blah. Now, he wasn't good enough. It wasn't directly at Violet. It was more about Sawyer and how Sawyer was just being down on himself.
That is a way better take of this scene than I took it. I thought his dragon was stubborn, and if Sawyer didn't get up there on his own, then I guess they were no longer going to be bonded.
No, his dragon said, I fucking chose you, same as Tairn. Chose Violet. Get on my goddamn back and let's go to work. That's what happened in my head.
That is a way better take. I'm going to go with that just because that sounds pleasant.
I think it's also correct. I'm not trying to harsh your mellow.
No, it's good. So Violet helps him with getting on his dragon, who, yeah, I have the note, the dragon who seems insulted with this process, ? Violet questions if Tairn feels dishonored to lower himself for Violet, and that's when he says the comment of, I'm a badass. No one questions me.
Yeah, which is accurate.
Exactly.
Not the fragile masculinity of people who are concerned about how they look to the outside world.
And that's what I thought of Sawyer's dragon.
Yeah, no. Sawyer's dragon just wants Sawyer to be on his back and love him.
Okay.
The dragons fucking love their riders. I want to point that out. Especially the ones that betrayed Navarre. Those are free-thinking dragons. That's why Ridic's dragon is playful and shitty with him in the same way. These dragons have personalities. They are not Venin.
Do you think that they would save their rider if they fell off at this point?
Yeah, why not? Yeah, of course. Sawyer's dragon would save him. Sawyer's dragon was willing to die in order to protect Sawyer. That's how all of this happened. He could have killed that wyvern, and instead he was preventing Sawyer from being eaten further.
You have some very good points. I wasn't giving Sawyer's dragon enough credit.
The dragons are the heroes of this story.
That's the name of the series, too.
Yeah. Hero dragons.
Hero dragons. There's a cheesy amount of congratulations and thank yous when everybody shows up and sees Sawyer up there. They're like, congrats, congrats. And there's thank yous and there's this. And then Violet complimenting Ree and then Ree complimenting Violet. And then everybody's complimenting
Everybody's
Sawyer.
jacking each other
and
off.
then Dane shows up and he's complimenting Ree. And then she's being humble. It was
Oh my
cheesy.
God, Ree and Dane. No, Ree's the dollar bean, right?
I think so.
All right, never mind. Really trying to find somebody to pair up with Dane.
We've been over.
Holy shit, Sloane. Sloane and Dane would be really adorable in its own way.
Maybe?
Her brother was like the marked one version of Dane in his own way. Like, Liam was the best, don't get me wrong, way better than Dane. But Liam always tried to do right by everybody, and he had his own principles and stuff that he lived by, right? I don't know. I think this would be great because that's kind of how Dane is now. Dane is willing to blow up his whole existence for the betterment of these other people. And Sloane needs somebody that is supportive, but also, I don't know, kind of...
I can see it with their personalities.
Right?
I think I can see it, yeah.
I think that would be really cute.
I
and
think...
we need Sloane to have somebody.
All right.
I've really put him with everybody. That's the theory I'm sticking with now, though. I think that would be the best one.
I think out of everyone you've listed, Sloane is the best fit.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm thinking.
So after all the cheesy congratulations and thank yous, Kaori and the team go to Aretia. There's another storm.
I wonder.
Violet is acting like Xaden's room isn't hers also.
Yeah, we're getting a little annoying with Violet, right? Or is it just me?
Bodhi agrees that she is being ridiculous.
My boy.
Brennan knows about Xaden and can't mend him. He must be farther along than Jack.
Yes, than Jack was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has tried silent offerings, tried pushing magic back into the ground, and sitting with the eggs. I like that they mentioned pushing magic back into the ground because I think I wondered this one time, could Sloane pull from Xaden and give it back to the ground?
Yeah, and the earth is like, listen, you fucking stole it. It's not about it being gone.
So that one doesn't work. Nor sitting with the eggs. And I'm just picturing Xaden and Brennan just awkwardly sitting near the eggs.
I'm picturing them sitting on the eggs. Like they're ready to hatch them.
I'm surprised they didn't get any eggshells grinded up and try eating it or something like that. Like absorb their magical powers.
Do you imagine he made Xaden do it naked?
Ew.
Sitting on the eggs.
Yeah, you'd have to be.
Right? Like, ooh, the leather might block the magic.
Brennan's just doing it to humiliate him.
He just wanted somebody to come sit on an egg with him. And Xaden's like, oh no, do we have to do it naked? And Brennan's like, yes.
Yes.
There's some movie with that. Do you remember?
No, but if Kaori was there also to look at these eggs, he has the power of projection, and then he would have nude photos of Xaden all the time.
I think he already has them.
Oh.
He's like, I changed your diapers. Look at this. Baby penis on a full-grown Xaden. That would be so fucking funny. It's like, wait a minute. Some part of this isn't accurate. He's like, well, this is the last photo I had. If you want it updated, show me what you're working with.
Show me what you got.
Yeah, there we go. That's really funny.
So they've exhausted all options. Sitting on the eggs did not work. But Violet is smiling. And Brennan's like, why the hell are you smiling? And she's like, he hasn't given up.
Yay. We didn't think he did, right?
I don't know what I thought. I do. You don't know. I did think he gave up when he found out there was another shadow wielder. It was like, the world is confirming you've turned.
Yeah, but you don't give up because you got your lady. You love her that much, you're never giving up. That's a selfish thing to do. That's not something my boy would do.
But he's doing it behind her back. Maybe not behind her back. He's doing it quietly.
Because if otherwise her hopes are up. I think this is totally normal. If you told her everything you were doing, her hopes would be up and then dashed. Up and then dashed. No, fuck that. You've got a problem. You're trying to solve it. Be amiable in the meantime. And then when you find something that seems to be working for you, you let them know.
Ooh, hold on a minute. Speaking of Brennan, knowing that Xaden is a Venin, if Brennan knew that Naolan turned Venin and is actually alive, I'm surprised there wasn't some comment in this scene about it.
Maybe not yet. Maybe he doesn't know Naolan turned Venin, or maybe he does, and that's the day that Naolan died to him. Because he's like, Naolan didn't even try to do what Xaden's doing. And now he's really bummed out. He's like, I guess he didn't love me enough.
Yeah. What if Naolan is alive, and that's why Xaden went to Brennan? Because he knew this, and that he was Venin.
Oh, I think he went to Brennan because Brennan's one of very few menders, and also his brother-in-law, basically.
He also mended the unthinkable of the Ward Stone. No one thought that was possible.
Yeah, he seemed like a pretty safe bet.
Chapter 48, there's an excerpt of The Resurgence of Evil, 472 AU, described as
Hold on. After unification, do we get BU? Does that ever happen?
I don't know.
We just got year 0 is DU.
What's DU mean?
During unification.
Oh my God, I feel dumb. In this excerpt, it's describing a woman as ageless, black hair, and rather than age lines, she has bulging red veins.
The first Venin.
Oh, that's what that is. And this is probably T, right?
No, I think she had silver hair the whole time. I think she was a part of the Dune tribe.
Really?
I don't think they would have let her in if she was Venin before. Or perhaps she went to the Dune tribe where there was no magic because she was Venin and she thought that would cure her. I don't know. It could be T. You're probably right.
I just saw another woman
She'd be
beautiful.
so fucking old. I don't know.
She's immortal, essentially.
Yeah, but when did it start?
472?
AU. Oh.
Going into chapter 48, everyone but Violet succeeded at the rune. She's bitter. She's talking about how, well, this person got it and this person got it. I didn't get it, but it's not a big deal. It's fine. But Kat got it. But it's not a big deal. It doesn't actually mean anything.
Yeah.
It's like she's talking herself through this. Like, it's totally fine that I didn't get it.
I wonder if they get grades. You know what I mean? Like, Violet's really struggling in rune class. Like, I have a D-, so, like, I'm not going to fail, but really can't be counted on.
She has moments that are very similar to Hermione and Harry Potter when it comes to classes.
Oh, where she's like the know-it-all, but she's not actually good at the practical side of things?
Yes,
I don't
think
know
so.
Harry Potter that well.
I think more she's a know-it-all. She doesn't need to try because she's already done all of her studying before she ever showed up.
And now faced with adversity, she doesn't actually know how to try.
Faced with something that she didn't have time to prepare for, of studying. Yeah.
But there isn't, like, I can see where runes might fuck you up with this a little bit because the Griffin Riders are all good at them. Specifically, Kat is incredible, right?
I think it's all a part of their culture along with the marked ones. It was like the tierish knots and all of that. I think over in that area, that has been a practice that has been passed down and included in just childhood development.
Oh, I'm agreeing with you. I think potentially that is a major factor, but I'd also like to point out that when it came to learning to control her signet, when it didn't work well right away, she had a tendency of kind of giving up.
She does give off the type of student that everything comes easy, and if it doesn't come easy to her, she just doesn't do it then.
Right.
Like, obviously, she keeps
handles
pushing.
Adversity well.
Yeah.
But she doesn't keep pushing when something doesn't seem like she can conquer it. When she loses self-confidence, it's all gone.
Yes, I agree. But then she pushes through, and then she succeeds the second time. She's like a fail once, succeed the second time.
I don't know if that's a trope.
That's a phrase.
You know, like those people who fail once and then do great the second time.
Classic.
Yes. Classic only once failures. The ones who can only immediately fail something and then actually are amazing at it.
We know them all.
Yeah, they're Violet. That's really funny. I like that.
Then she goes back to her room and she puts on her robe, her Deverelli robe.
Her sexy nightie.
Her sexy nightie from T.
The moo-moo T left her. The Deverelli silk moo-moo.
Deverelli moo-moo.
Yeah. Moo-moos can be sexy.
There's this woman who's very young and she's wearing a moo-moo in the video and she's just like, it worked for my grandma.
Dude, it does work. In general, I get it.
No, it doesn't work by the standards of what work is. Men are just simple.
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
Explain it to me. Elaborate in simpler terms, please. No, I just like the idea that, like, hey, it's just a really big shirt.
A silky one.
If that's all you were wearing, I'm super down. You're right. All right, I'm simple. You're not wrong.
I wasn't. Now you've ruined it. Now I'm picturing a moo-moo. A silky moo.
What were you picturing about a silky moo?
A silky moo.
It's very refined milk.
I thought
It's a cow with really soft fur. It's a silky moo.
I think I was just picturing the same robe that we were talking about Kat walking into Xaden's room, knocking on the door where she's half nude. And I think we even joked about her leaving the robe there and walking back.
Yes, and just trucking it back naked.
But it's just a black see-through gown with big, puffy, black, furry cuffs.
Huh. Yeah, I don't have a great vision of this. Now I'm just picturing a long sleeve moo-moo.
But it must be see-through because when the door knocks, she thinks that it's somebody like her brother, right? So she puts on an actual robe.
Ooh, better cover my tits.
Better cover the titties. We get sexy rain-soaked Xaden.
It's not rain. A dragon peed on him.
Ew, Brian.
He didn't want to bring it up.
I think she could have smelled that.
Oh, it smells like dragon piss, but he looks good.
I guess we better go shower.
Did you imagine, though? Trying to make it sexy while you're still showering off the dragon piss? I don't know. He could do it. I couldn't get away with it, but he could do it.
We learned that it's been 73 days now. He's sober.
Wasn't it 37 before or something?
47 days.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 47 days sober in chapter 45. Now in chapter 48, it's been 73 days.
Okay, so it's been just under a month.
He flew 9 hours in the wrong direction to get her. And he shows up and he's like, I can leave if you want me to. She's like, well, no. He's like, I shouldn't be here. And she's like, well, you're fucking here.
Yeah, like, okay, you're right. You shouldn't be. You were supposed to be over there. He's like, don't worry about it. I know a guy who's a distance wielder. I'm not actually going to be late.
Oh, yeah. Wait a minute. Xaden.
I know.
No, he flew 9 hours.
I'm sure he did, but he's not going to fly 9 hours back. Just let your distance wielder homie transport you.
Yeah, but you can't communicate with your distance wielder.
What? Have Garrett come with you.
If I was Garrick, I'm not flying the 9 hours. I'll meet you in Aretia when you show up.
I'm confused. I thought they were both going to and from. I thought they were kind of attached.
They are attached, but when I asked, did Xaden fly the 9 hours, you said yes.
Versus 9 hours the other way. Either way, you're flying 9 hours.
Why wouldn't Garrick just give them all a ride?
Well, because it's a secret signet. He doesn't want other people to know about it. If he and Xaden peel out and go the other way.
I also think that Garrick would burn out if he transported 2 riders and 2 dragons.
Remains to be seen. Just saying, if I got a taxi buddy, probably going to ask about it.
I'm landing on Xaden showed up by himself without Garrick, and he flew the 9 hours in the rain.
I agree. He flew the 9 hours in the rain.
So he would be stinky.
I don't know, man. Maybe it was a fresh breeze. Maybe he sudsed up in the rainstorm. And he's like, Zehyllna, don't look back here. And he's just scrubbing himself down. She's like, I don't want to feel your penis on my scales again. So
Again?
Yeah. It's like the 3rd time he's done this. He's like, there's nothing. Can you imagine if you had a dragon and it was raining outside? Oh my God, I want to do this.
Want to do what?
I want to shower in the rain on a dragon. Don't you? That might be the cleanest I've ever felt.
At 80 miles an hour?
She could slow the fuck down while I'm sudsing up. Like, hover for a minute. And then, yeah, when we're ready to be dried off, 80 mile an hour, just whoo, your hair's all wind blown. And yeah, it'd be cool. You'd smell fresh. Like, oh, you've dropped your bar of Irish Spring. It would be crazy in that sense, too. Like, imagine you're just a person down below. And you see a flight jacket and a bar of Irish Spring coming at you. You're like, what the fuck?
Well, have you heard those stories where airplanes will drop their
poo?
Yeah. The toilet stuff.
Yeah. And it freezes, comes down. I think that's a plot of Joe Dirt. This is a poo meteorite.
Do you ever think about the dragons and
shitting while they fly?
Yeah,
they're cloaca bound.
Are they like birds or do they?
We've determined this. They're crocodiles.
They're like crocodiles.
Yeah.
So they probably find tall grass, tall trees. They poop in the forest.
Sure. Yeah. If a dragon shits in the forest and nobody's there to hear it. I like it.
Are you trying to avoid this sex scene right now?
No. No, I love this. Let's get into it. Xaden's dripping wet, and so is Violet.
This scene I thought was hilarious. I was laughing because it is the tension. He's fighting it. He's like, I won't. And I don't even think he touches her this whole scene. I think he uses his shadows, which then turns her on. He pins her arms against the wall, but then he like wants her to have the weapons on the ready. So then he releases her for it.
Yeah, he seems pretty indecisive for a guy that had 9 hours to plan this out. I think he probably could have come up with a different stratagem.
And then he asks, how many daggers do you have? She's like, 2. He's like, now 4. And now she's surrounded by daggers. And then he also wants her to use her orby thing. What's that called?
Yeah, her alloy.
Use her alloy.
Or no, what the hell is that thing called?
It's filled with we'll call it.
It's got alloy inside it. Yeah.
We're only 3 books in. Who knows?
Who knows what it's called?
He wants her to use that. So then she's at full power type of thing. I don't understand why that would keep her at full power.
So she can leave the gates open to Tairn's power.
Oh.
Yeah, this one I actually understood a little bit. He's like, in case I get too carried away, you can lightning my dong.
So now we're in this scene that he is willing to die for her puss.
Yeah, he's willing to die, but he's he is and he isn't. He's all over the place a little bit.
He's hungry.
But he's not getting it. He's letting the shadows whisper about the flavor to him.
If he can hear secrets, he can taste flavors.
His superpowers are doing the work, and he's just cucking it.
And she gets after him for it. She's like, stop it. Get over here and actually touch me.
Yeah. He's like, oh, fuck, it was going to be 74 days. But now it's not.
I want to ask about the temptation that he has when banging her. I don't understand why he is so tempted to pull from the source when he's banging her.
Okay, I think I understand this. It's horny brain. You know, sometimes when you've got horny brain and you're having sex and you're like, this is what I want right now. It is almost animalistic in what you're going for, right? Logically, you would never do those things. And before post-nut clarity kicks in, you're just like, hell yeah, brother. We're getting after all of this. Well, his base instincts right now also are craving power.
But we don't see in past scenes that his floodgates are all open and that the shadows are going crazy in these scenes.
Right. As it sits right now, he's really struggling to maintain control. And it would be exasperated by the fact of you're losing some control when you let horny brain take over.
Right.
I don't know. I think this makes perfect sense.
But why temptation to pull from Violet and not the ground? Or is it both?
It would be pulling from everywhere. You want all the power.
Oh.
Like, they're not looking to consume enough to make them feel good. They want everything, is their base instinct.
So in my notes, I have, he's fumbling, knowing she has the nightgown on that he got her. He's fighting this.
He got her.
Yeah, he's fighting this. He gives in. He wants the weapons on the ready. Do you think he's going to fuck up in the next chapter?
No. I think he's going to fuck her, and then he's going to realize that it was too tempting and he needs to leave. I think this is his swan song for Violet.
What's swan song mean?
You know, the last one. A swan song. Google what a swan song is. I won't be able to explain this well.
A person's final public performance before retirement. That's what you picked.
Okay. Listen, you may think that I have notes or something written over here on my thighs. I don't. I have to come up with all of this as we're speaking. It's a tough job.
It's shockingly on point, though. I've never heard of this.
Yeah.
So you think that it's going to be almost like a one-night stand?
No, I think it's his goodbye fuck. And I don't think it's meant to be this devious thing, but if I was them and I was writing this and he's like, hey, I've made it this many days, I think he finally felt as though he was safe enough to attempt this, that he had gained enough control in those 73 days that he could fuck her, but he knows that that temptation is always there and it's getting stronger and stronger and stronger.
But you think that he does not actually pull and he continues on his sobriety?
Well, I think at least through the fucking session, yeah. Maybe he pulls from something during that. Maybe she says, here, drink from the orb, handsome, while he's going down on her.
Oh.
I don't know, man. I'm winging it here.
Do you think this is the scene that he writes that letter that we read about when they were in Deverelli? It was like an excerpt about it?
Potentially, yeah. Yeah, wouldn't it make sense? Give her a positive memory to leave on, and then you're like, okay, now I've done what I needed to do. But he's already going to be 18 hours minimum. If they didn't fuck at all, he would have been 18 hours late to where he was going before.
Right.
So now it's going to be a day and 18 hours. He would be in all kinds of trouble. I think he's just looking at it like, fuck it. I'm out anyway. They've got another shadow wielder that they can train up. He can be a champion among these people. I will go kind of, old Yeller, not die, but do shit off behind the scenes.
That kind of sounds like he's giving up.
I don't think so. I think he's realized that he's out of solutions to attempt there. And it would be very dangerous to bring Violet in the next things that he needs to attempt.
I think if it's all that, it would be more so because his post-nut clarity and seeing all of the daggers laying around that he knew had to be there to keep her safe.
Can I give you a secondary thing, too? They also don't believe that the Irids are going to come light the fire. The wards are getting worse. What is his best method of protecting his woman?
I don't know.
If he goes to the Venin and he's like, I will hang out with you guys for a while, under the condition that you guys don't fuck around with Aretia, because that's where my lady's at.
Why would they trust Xaden?
Who?
The Venin. Let's say he goes to the Venin. Why would they trust him to not be a double agent?
Who cares if he's a double agent? What can he possibly gain from that? And if Xaden's come to them, being like, hey, this is the trade I'm willing to do, they know that Navarre's out of options.
Yeah, and if you get Xaden, and then you would get Violet because you have Xaden.
Well, they don't even know that they would get Violet. I still believe that there are different factions of Venin. I think T is her own thing.
I'm still wondering if that dream that Violet had just experienced a couple chapters ago is going to be the ending of the book. And you assume that she killed Xaden.
Oh, I didn't assume that Xaden dies.
No, he obviously doesn't die. He's a Venin. He can't die.
Well, Venin do die. Violet kills them all the time.
True.
They just don't die of natural causes. Lobster people.
Let's read 5 more chapters.
Oh, is that the end?
Yeah.
That's all you wanted to say about this?
Yeah.
What do you think the sexiest thing Xaden did was?
Finally using the shadows.
Yeah?
Yeah, that'd be it. I love you.
I love you.
You're my bestie.
You're my bestie.
It was a great time. We had fun. Now get out and go live your life.
No, wait. No. Thank you all for listening. We appreciate and love you all. Please follow us here, TikTok, or Instagram at Yarros.Podcast.
And then go live your life.
Bye.
Bye. Get out. We're done. This was Daggers and Shadow Daddies. Now it's my time. Toodaloo. It was fun for us. I hope it was fun for you. But that's all we've got. Goodbye. Come back in a few days. We love you.